Hello students, this is exercise number 87 of the legal dictations and these are the in-text words of this exercise. Exceptional, lacunae, witnesses, escape, invoked, irregularity, sparingly, inadmissible, protection, Nariman, Chaudhary, Singh. This is exercise number 87 of the legal dictations on the speed of 80 words per minute for 10 minutes. Start. Mr. Nariman, learned senior counsel, pointed out that earlier the counsel for the appellant accused was Mr. Chaudhary, but the appellant changed his counsel and appointed Mr. Sinha in the year 2007 as his new counsel, and this fact is corroborated by affidavit. Unfortunately, the name of Mr. Sinha as counsel for the appellant was not shown in the case list when the case was listed, and the name of the former counsel, Mr. Chaudhary, was shown. In these circumstances, Mr. Sinha, who was engaged by the appellant as his new counsel, did not appear. We are of the opinion that even assuming that the counsel for the accused does not appear because of the counsel's negligence or deliberately, even then the court should not decide a criminal case against the accused in the absence of his counsel, since an accused in a criminal case should not suffer for the fault of his counsel, and in such a situation the court should appoint another counsel as amicus curiae to defend the accused. This is because liberty of a person is the most important feature of our constitution. Article 21, which guarantees protection of life and personal liberty, is the most important fundamental right of the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Article 21 can be said to be the heart and soul of the fundamental rights. In our opinion, that a criminal case should not be decided against the accused in the absence of a counsel. Historically and in practice, in our own country at least, it has always included the right to the aid of counsel when desired and provided by the party asserting the right. The right to be heard would be, in many cases, of little avail if it did not comprehend the right to be heard by counsel. Even the intelligent and educated layman has small and sometimes no skill in the science of law. If charged with crime, he is incapable generally of determining for himself whether the indictment is good or bad. He is unfamiliar with the rules of evidence. Left without the aid of counsel, he may be put on trial without a proper charge and convicted upon incompetent evidence or evidence irrelevant to the issue or otherwise inadmissible. He lacks both the skill and knowledge adequately to prepare his defense, even though he has a perfect one. He requires the guiding hand of counsel at every step in the proceedings against him. Without it, though he may be not guilty, he faces the danger of conviction because he does not know how to establish his innocence. If that be true of men of intelligence, how much more true is it of the ignorant and illiterate or those of feeble intellect? If in any case, civil or criminal, a state or federal court were arbitrarily to refuse to hear a party by counsel employed by and appearing for him, it reasonably may not be doubted that such a refusal would be a denial of a hearing and therefore of due process in the constitutional sense. Additional evidence at appellate stage is permissible in case of a failure of justice. However, such power must be exercised sparingly and only in exceptional cases where the court is satisfied that directing additional evidence would serve the interests of justice. It would depend upon the facts and circumstances of an individual case as to whether such permission should be granted, having due regard to the concepts of fair play, justice, and the well being of society. Such an application for taking additional evidence must be decided objectively to cure the irregularity. The primary object of the provisions of Section 391 CRPC is the prevention of a guilty man's escape through some careless or ignorant action on part of the prosecution before the court or for vindication of an innocent person wrongfully accused, where the court omitted to record the circumstances essential to elucidation of truth. Generally, it should be invoked when formal proof for the prosecution is necessary. Thus, the additional evidence can be taken at the appellate stage in exceptional circumstances to remove an irregularity where the circumstances so warrant in public interest. Such power is exercised to have formal proof of the documents, etc., just to meet the ends of justice. However, the provisions of Section 391 CRPC cannot be pressed into service in order to fill up lacunae in the prosecution's case. In the instant case, the electricity and telephone bills have not been proved at the time of trial. The High Court, while hearing the appeal, remitted the matter back to the trial court to allow the prosecution to prove the documents and give opportunity to the prosecution witnesses